Every day I spent all my free time drawing and painting. I was determined to do it my way. I had the confidence that I would make a living as an artist one day. First of all, of course, I was surprised because there are quite a few deserving second-generation artists who should be getting the Cultural Medallion Award as well. I mean, to be recognized, for what I've done over the years is something that I treasure. And of course, I was happy that I was given the recognition. Now, when I was in primary school, in the Tonam school, which is now the museum along Armenian Street next to the substation, and then and there was this art teacher who came in once a week to demonstrate what he could do if you know something about painting. Within 5 minutes, he was demonstrating in front of me. He could do a painting of flowers within minutes. And then I thought, wow, if that's the way you can make a living, just doing that, So that's something I could think about to be a profession, in the years to come. Because it's something you enjoy doing and something you can make a living out of it. So then and there, I decided that that's the path I should follow. So I enrolled at the Nanyang Academy of Fine Arts to start my long road to be an artist. And the first person I saw was Cheong Su Peng, who turned out to be the biggest influence on me. And I saw his work of native women all painted in black and white and red. And I thought, how can people all have red skin and black skin? So when I asked him, why do you paint the women all in different colors, brown, red, green? He said that it's modern art. You have to introduce different colors to the pink so that people begin to look at things differently. For a couple of years, I was with Cheong Su Peng, Madam Georgette Chen, and Si Chen Ti, who is very good with sketching. And I also did some studying apart from the NAFA with Cheng Weng Si. I went to his studio once a week to do Chinese painting with him. I was at Chelsea for a couple of years, but when teaching at Chelsea was very liberal, so quite often than not, we don't sort of left to ourselves to work by ourselves, which is what Chelsea encouraged students to do. In other words, Chelsea school says, you come here to develop your own style. You don't need a teacher. So while I was left on my own for a long time, someone who was studying at Hammersmith College of Art told me that why don't you go down and have a look, because they're doing different things there. And there they were doing polyester resin, stained glass, mosaic, concrete, and all sorts of other materials. So the teacher persuaded me, said, why don't you come here and play with the concrete and play with stained glass? Because painting you can always do at home. You don't need to go to Chelsea to do painting. You can paint at home. So I tried for a few months, an evening a week, to see whether I really like it, before I told the Chelsea principal that I want to pack up and spend my full time at Hammersmith College of Art. Well, in England, most of the time I do a kind of a very cool palette, namely blue, greens, black, and white, you know, and especially in the winter when I'm locked at home, most of the works came out with dark blues, dark greens, and you know, and sometimes against a white background because of the cold snow in the winter. The landscape in China is freezing cold up there. So when you are sketching or taking photographs up there, you're feeling the cold, not the heat, you know. So as a result, when I'm painting that series of landscape, I'm projecting the coolness up on the mountain and the coolness up in the village, rather than the warmth as you get down onto the village. You see, traveling for me has always been an expansion of my experience. And it's always nice to go back to places you've been and also to discover new areas, give you a surprise element. Because having been in a place very often, you sometimes stop looking. You take things for granted. But you stop going there for about 5 years, then you go back again, you suddenly see things that were always there, but you've never seen before. So, and also going to different places give me a different inspiration to work. Well, after working for 40 years over, you know, in a Western concept of I study Western art, I think of Western concept and Western theories when I do painting. So then I started looking back into my roots and found that Chinese art, which has a 5,000-year history, is just as interesting. The way Chinese organize their art is very different from the way the Western art works, you know. The Chinese don't have this kind of perspective. In fact, it's a reverse perspective, like the Japanese painting, you know. The Western art has a perspective which started off with big and going small, 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 and then it disappeared. The Chinese perspective is a reverse perspective. The things at the back can be bigger than the works in front. A few years ago, I went to a place called Pai. Someone told me that this is a very interesting valley, that a lot of filmmakers go there, writers, poets, you know, and photographers and artists all gather there in the winter time. So I went there and stayed there for a week and found that the place was very interesting, so that inspired a series on the heads. Heads are some of the people I've encountered, you know, and some I imagine them what they are going to be. Shanti is a person. They represent people when I spoke to them, you know, about why they are called zombie, you know, because people who go to those areas believe that it's a good place to escape to, because most people spend their whole life slogging away like a zombie in the city, you know, and Pai was a good escape route for them to go there, relax and have fun, and you know, and do some things you always wanted to do, cycling around, relax in a hot spring, things like that. Victim is sometimes some of the people who tell me they've been abused, and as a result they want to escape from the environment, so they go to Pai to relax and to forget about the experience they had. Now the painting on white mask, sometimes it appears to me that the people who are there is trying to escape from something or trying to be something what they are not, and they are all wearing a white mask, trying to mask, you know, what is actually underneath themselves. So came up with this kind of escapism stories. The shell discovery art, which I was involved for 20 years, started off being organized by the Shell company in Singapore. And its objective, which is very different from any other art exhibition, is to recognize totally unknown artists. And the condition to participate is the artist must be unknown. And also the artist must never have a one-man exhibition. So this is contradicting to any other art exhibition where you must be, people must be known to participate and things like that. Shell Discovery has got no competition whatsoever. There is no prize from Shell. We are there to help the unknown artists, to teach them how to promote their works with the help of Shell, and then at the same time how to prize their works. So there is zero competition. There is no prize from Shell. The only prize you get is when you're being selected to show your works. So every 5 years we have a grand art Shell Discovery show. We bring back all the artists we've been promoting for the last 5 years and have another big party exhibition and help them to sell their works again and put another catalog to sort of keep their works in the catalog. Every young artist today who went on to win the UOB art competition has gone through the Shell Discovery. I think in general, the tendency is that artists have an exhibition and leave whoever is organizing the show to say whatever they like. And sometimes it's not what the artist wants to say. And sometimes the interpretation is wrong. So, and also I feel that there are some problems the artists need to tell the public so that the public gets to know a better insight, not just the artwork, but as well as the artists. So that's why I decided to publish Singapore Artists Speak, to let the artists speak. It started in 1990 when the Singapore artists decided to have a show at the New York Art Expo. So we brought 20 artists' works there, but unfortunately the Singapore artists only have their works to show and nothing to back up the works, because all the other artists over there have thick publications to justify why people should buy those works there. So then and there when I came back, I decided that Singapore artists should also have books to help them to sell their works. You see, to start off with without anything is one of the most difficult things. And maybe, I don't know why, I always choose one of the most difficult paths to do anything. It's like when there are 5 empty car parks there, I will choose the one that is in between 20 cars to squeeze in there instead of going straight into the 5 empty car parks. And that's the kind of route I took. And to start off, which is the same way as Jackson Pollock does. You do on an empty canvas, and then as you work along, as you play along with paint, with brushwork or whatever, it starts to create a picture of its own, and that's when you start to sort of add your experience to what is there. I destroy all the works that I don't think is suitable to be seen, so I tear up the works and I recycle them into collage. I like to make things impossible possible. So by putting unknown objects, or rather unknown piece of paper torn at random onto the canvas and try to make the pieces work together was a tremendous challenge. From the years of experience doing abstract work and able to join the two pieces together, so what do I need to go in between to make the two shake hands? So that's when I try to bring my 40 years of experience into the work. I find it very challenging because at the end of the day, whether it's good or bad is irrelevant. It's just the experience of able to do it, to take up the challenge and do it. And if people think it's bad, it's bad. If the people think it's good, it's good. It doesn't worry me in the least. My objective is to take up the challenge and do it. That's it. Clear. The coast is clear. Welcome to my studio. I've been in this studio for about 6 months, but I spent a month or so painting it up, clearing all the rubbish, and finally after a month and a half, I was able to move in here to work. See, the space is fantastic compared to what I used to have. I'm able to come in here, lock myself in, keep everything away except the noise, and then work. See the noise?